Hello, and welcome to creating a new MediaBin user. The first thing that happens when a new user is needed for the MediaBin system is that you will receive an email from the client, usually Sherwin Tolentino at the Gates Foundation. The email will contain information on the user group for the particular user, in this case, General Foundation, and information about the users. You can see that Joe Dirt here is a temporary employee through Volt, and temporary employees are handled differently than permanent employees like Liz Taylor. So the first thing that I normally do is start by creating a reply to the email. And I'll reply by saying, see credentials below. Then I will go into the actual body of the email and create a username and password for each new user. Believe me, it's easier to do it this way than to do it any other way, simply because this gives you a place to copy and paste from later on in the process. So, Joe Dirt is a user that is temporary, and external or temporary users always get an E after their username. So the convention for username is generally the first initial, last name, and in the case of an external or temporary contract user, there is an E, dash hyphen E. The password convention is that it needs to be 8 characters long. It needs to contain both capital and small letters, a special character, and a number if possible. The foundation has requested that we make these kind of intuitive so that people don't have a hard time remembering their passwords. So in this case, I'm going to do a little creative thinking about Joe Dirt's name. And I've got a 0, a 3, an exclamation point in there, and let's give him a star so that we meet the 8-character limit. Liz Taylor is a permanent employee of the foundation, so her username is just L Taylor, and her password can be L2 and that looks like it satisfies the requirements as well. The next thing that I will generally do is move on to closing that window, minimizing my email. I move on to the SkyDrive spreadsheet that contains all of the user names for the MediaBin system. You'll be given a link to this, and you may require an MSN account to access it. Go into Edit Workbook, edit an Excel web app. These are alphabetical by last name, so please insert a row just like you would in Excel for Mr. Joe Dirt. Put in his username, copy and paste his password from your handy email that's off here on their second screen. You can't see it, but boy, oh boy, is copying and pasting a good thing. Allow access. Grab his email address. Paste that as well. And paste his title in there if you're given it. In addition, you're going to want to reformat this so that the email address is not in blue and underlined, and make sure everything's the same font size. All right, moving on. We will create a second line for Liz Taylor. The same exact way. You can see as you're scrolling through this document that there are many, many users with many different kinds of permissions. The easiest way to create a new user in Active Directory is to copy an existing user. So we've got a Mary Taylor, but she does not have an L as her first initial, so that's good news. So we can put good old Liz Taylor in here. General Foundation, L. Taylor. Copy her password that we made up for her with Control C. Paste. Email address, Control, paste. Title, Control, paste. Reformat, black, not underlined, 10. All right, so your spreadsheet's ready. So let's minimize that for the time being as well. And now we're finally going to go into Active Directory via remote desktop. The address for Active Directory is going to be m02pr1 mbdc01.mediabin.corp. All of these server addresses are written down for you in documentation, but should you need to see what this is, I'm going to unhighlight it here now so that you might be able to read this. Let's connect. Always connect to the MediaBin servers using the service account for MediaBin. The password for this is capital M3, small DIA, capital B as in boy, 1N. Okay, log in. It takes a few minutes to log on to any of the remote servers. But once you do, you should be able to go to the Start menu, which is way down here, Administrative Tools, Active Directory Users and Computers. It takes a few minutes to show up as well. Okay, here we go. So you're going to want to find a general user to copy. And I happen to know that Alan Renison is a general user. So we're going to right-click on his name, copy, and create Joe Dirt's record. It would help if I typed his name correctly. First name, last name, the login that we've decided upon, which has a hyphen and an E because he is a temporary employee. And then you can again copy and paste the password that you created into this box from your email window that is open on your other screen. Hit next and finish. Now you're not really finished because Joe Dirt needs to have an email applied to his account. The reason for this is that if he decides to email assets to himself using MediaBin, he will be sent the assets or the asset link at his email address. So you need to fill that in and hit apply and OK. Since the next user is also a general user, we can just copy Joe Dirt to create Liz Taylor's account. She is a permanent, not a temporary user. So again, she is L. Taylor. And you can copy and paste her password that you have made up. Finish. And then we are going to add her email address so that she can receive emails as well. Apply, OK. The last step is to test these new accounts. So you'll go to the Gates Foundation site and try out each account credential prior to sending them to the client. You can copy and paste the password, log in. Liz Taylor, oh no! Sometimes on the first try, you will receive an error message that says that authentication does not work. That generally only happens once. In addition, if you're in a browser that has a Java pop-up like this, just hit run, and Liz Taylor's account appears to work. Let's log out as Liz and get in as Joe Dirt. His password, copy and paste. Log in. Hey, Joe worked right away. Okay, so you've created 2 successful accounts. The last step is to simply hit send on this email and you'll have given the client the user accounts that they need. I hope that's enough information. Enjoy!